on tonight because I have a bunch of stuff I got to get done before tomorrow. And actually, right now, the cat just started scratching on the door, so I'll let you guys roll in real quick. Let me let her in. But hello, everybody. Welcome to another Friday Night Live. Can you believe it, man? She didn't like me talking loud like that. She's kind of noise sensitive. Anyways, glad to be here with you guys. Hope you guys are all doing good. And first and foremost, to let you guys know, I did get some emails where some of the things were low in stock on the website. And I guess if there's not enough of the quantity that you're trying to put into your cart or trying to buy, if it's not fully in stock, I guess it just won't add it to the cart. But I did go ahead and update the website, so what is in stock now is in stock. Since we were catching up from all the holiday shipping, glad to have all those out. Thank you guys all so much for the support and orders. Really could not do this without you guys. So first and foremost, always thank you. And hello, good to see you guys in the chat here. Let me go ahead and jump into the live chat. There it is. It's got it covered. I actually got my phone on the opposite side that I normally have it on. But the whole reason that we do this is to help you guys out with your aquarium keeping questions. I've been way down the rabbit hole in this hobby with doing things. So, you know, there's a lot of stressors that can cause you problems, whether it even be the most minute. Knowledge is power, and things that we don't know often sometimes will draw fear out, and that's never a fun feeling. So anything that we can do here to help you guys, that is what we're here for. And you can see up above I got the old fish room tour kind of going, so you guys have something to watch while we do this live stream as well. Show you around the fish room. And of course, if there's certain questions that pertain to things that I can show off and reasoning within the fish room as well, you know, we'll go on a journey. So since we're only going to be here for about 30 minutes, probably tonight, won't be able to do the full hour. I won't be making you guys wait to show you guys stuff. So if there is stuff you guys want to see too, just let me know. Well, I guess I will just keep rambling till, there we go. Oh, LRB Aquatics, thank you for saving me. Thought I was going to have to keep rambling, which I probably could because, oh man, so much has been going on. But always good to see you. It says, hey Lucas, how goes by the magnitude of your hobby growth over time is imagined your lived chaotic feed as well? You're lived? Wait, hey Lucas, how goes by the magnitude of your hobby growth over time? Is imagined your live is chaotic feed as well? So I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Are you asking me if like I would have thought this hobby would have got to this magnitude that it did over time? Or I don't know. I'm not really sure what you're getting at there. But the feed right now, as far as the live, if that's what you're talking about, then it's not too bad right now. Now's the time to really ask questions because there's not a whole lot going on the feed. But as far as chaotic life with everything I have here, if that's what you're wondering, with the magnitude of all the aquariums and stuff I keep, believe it or not, like, I'll just go with the story here. I started with just a few tanks, went to like 15 tanks, and then got up to like 30 tanks, and then like 60 tanks, and then hundreds of tanks. And I did hundreds of tanks for, I don't know how long, a long time. And once you like, it's like riding a bike. You get used to doing it. And of course, there'll always be variables that, hey, okay, maybe learn something here that's the beautiful thing about this hobby, and I've said this for years and years, is that you could do this hobby for 100 years and still be learning new things, because there's always new things coming out, new ways to do certain things. And especially with genetics, messing around with fish. So I think that's why this hobby got to the magnitude that it did with me as well, is for that fact alone. Because I've done all kinds of hobbies in my life. I was always a hobby person. This is the one that just like has always offered a variable. And being a Gemini, like, I get tired of doing the same thing over and over, like repetitiveness. Although, I mean, that's how I get my aquariums. Part of life is being repetitive. So when I don't have to be, it's a good outlet that can promote my creativity as well. Because even as a kid, I kind of wanted to grow up as a do like art, and for me now, this is like my art for me. So this is my passion, my art, my life, and that's why I got to the magnitude that it did. What can I say? I love it. Dave O, and don't get me wrong, I've had my periods where I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Is this really what I want to do? You should always ask yourself that in life, because I mean, that's how you grow. That's how you really find focus and direction. And so I have done that a lot, and now more than ever, I am more passionate about this hobby and what I do here. Matter of fact, I've been getting in my tanks a lot lately too, which has been real exciting. And need to get a whole bunch of fish moved around. Dave O'Do says, I would buy some more Arutu if you put them up soon. Can you show those pretty fish? So I can show those to you, and matter of fact, I need to put some on the website. When I get off here, I will pop, I don't know, how many pairs you want? 1, 2, let me flip you around. But I can throw some in. These are the parents. See if we can get in there. There we go. So there we have the parents. You want 3 pair? I could probably do that. See, this is good though, because you're gonna force me to have to pick them up. Now they will be smaller. Oh my God, my knee. I can't really bend down very well right now. I kind of torqued my knee. Twerking it. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. So these are the ones that I would have available for you. Young, full of life. Will give you plenty of time to breed. And even at this size, they are breedable. Focus, camera, focus. On those wondering how I get my water changes done, that's how I pulled the water out. And there it goes out the barn. Oh, man. But I actually got a few babies here. And actually other breeding groups down there. I need to get these on the site at some point. Or the Melanotaenius or Nergos. I wish you guys would just lay some eggs already. Alright. Flip you guys back around here. So yeah, you want 3 pair, you said? Here we go. Sorry, moving you guys all over the place. Like I said, I kind of hurt my knee there, and when I'm feeling all that pain in the knee, my arm's kind of like forgetting about all of it. Unfortunately, I gotta get back into shape. That's what it really is. I can't let the old man in. I need to get back to shape. Too many cheeseburgers and them chili dogs. They just, God, they're delicious. Aquarium Fantasy, always good to see you in here, bro. Says Lucas, how was your week? My week was great. Super, super busy. Getting lots of things done around here. Little additions of this and that. So it's cool to see things progress, which you guys will be seeing here soon. Today was like one of those days though, that like I have like my direct focus and goals for certain things I want to do. But there was just all these little things that life was throwing at me like, nope, you're going to do this right now. Nope, you're going to do this right now. Lake Missoula Aquatics and Plants, always good to see you. Says, what fish except guppies is breeding the best for you right now? Rainbow fish always. Trout goodeids for sure. Oh! I got baby axolotls. How could I forget to tell you guys? So those have been breeding. A couple have hatched out, but they hatched out inside the main community tank with like the 7 other axolotls. Now there is rock piles in there, so there is a potential chance that they may survive. I don't know. I feel like they would definitely get hunted down, and they're kind of derpy, so even if they did grow out a little bit, I would be super, super lucky to even see one. But I did get eggs picked, and I put them into like 5 or 6 different tanks, so we'll see how that goes. Which I got to, I think I'm going to have to do brine shrimp for these guys, because they need something to move in front of them. I do have like paramecium, but I think that'll be too small for them. I do have daphnia, but I think that might be too big for them. So I think brine shrimp would be good for them. And then angelfish, the red koi devil angelfish laid eggs this week as well. So I plucked the 2 leaves that they had laid eggs on. There was a trio, 1 male, 2 females. The male helped both females' eggs. And I had put them in 2 different tanks because never put all your eggs in the same basket. One of the tanks that I put the eggs in had a lot of snails in them, and pretty much the snails ate all the eggs. And the other tank that hardly has any snails, the eggs are still good and should hopefully hatch. We'll see. So that was exciting. So those are the main ones, like really breeding well for me right now. Fishboy 7108 says, hi Lucas, when you start a new aquarium, how long do you cycle before you do a water change? And do you ever have a problem with gas exchange with no filter, like with that film on water? So the film on water definitely happens a lot. Let me show you some examples here. Now, the more you water change, the more you will probably deal with biofilms. My goldfish tank happens to have quite a bit of biofilm on it, which you would think the goldfish would do better at taking care of that, but there's actually a lot of broken down algae, broken down guppy grass, other plants, and things that will feed into that biofilm growth. Now, if you look over here on this rack though, that's clear, no biofilm. That's clear, no biofilm. That's got slight biofilm. Then a lot of these are cleared out, no biofilm. And like this one, mostly guppies are really great about clearing those. These have biofilm. And you can see these have just a little bit of biofilm. So you can even get like where you have some biofilm or not much. But these guppies will work on that if they don't have anything to eat. So it is a good food source. And it is really actually healthy for your aquarium. Don't fight that biofilm too much. And the less that you do water changes, more this will settle down. Now that depends, because if you go too long without water changes, algae can start breaking down as such. And as it breaks down, it will feed into the biofilm as well. Same thing with plants. One thing with water changes is it really does help promote plant growth, because that's when it really grabs onto those gases in atmosphere exchanges from the air bubbles that come through it. You can see how that's kind of dying out as well. And as I do water changes, that is actually killing the algae too. So there's like, what do I want to say? There's like certain pivot points that can play factors as far as what's happening in your aquarium to what's promoting the biofilm. Now, if things are nice and clean, pretty tidy, the water is mature, biologically sound, so it has a lot of microbiology in it. It's not like real new, it's kind of fairly aged. It stabilizes a little better with that biofilm. So even with smaller water changes, you would have better luck at having no biofilm than if you're doing bigger water changes. And when it comes to first setting up a new aquarium, how long do I wait until having it saying that it's cycled? Well, since I have other aquariums, I pretty much cycle them directly from other things as the plants I move into them. Maybe I'll use some of the aquarium water to help seed it, and maybe just like 1 or 2 fish to get it going. And since I have well water, my water's pretty lively. If you have city water, it's a little different story because it's been more sterilized before it got to you. And so then you'll need to wait a little longer or add some snails or something else to kind of kick it and get it going. And then after I've had it started and waiting to mature for like my first water change, then I would give it at least a month and then just do like a small 10%. And then maybe do like 2 weeks, a 10%, 20%. Let's start them slow. Don't do big, heavy water changes. Now, the times that you can, and a lot of people will show them getting away with big water changes, is when they have really mature filters and or ecosystems. Because the more mature your ecosystem is, like more mulm you have it and more brown stuff you have in your filter, the more you can bounce back from one of those big water changes that they can repopulate into. But it's not easy on the system, and that's where people get bacteria blooms and all kinds of other things. Because when you're doing that water change, it's kind of like adding new blank canvas to a picture, and something's got to fill it. The color's got to fill it. Something's got to fill it, and it's either going to be a good bacteria, can't even be a bad bacteria. Sometimes it could be green water. Sometimes it could be ammonia or nitrates, say if you don't have enough microbiology to take care of that waste. But hey, good questions, and I feel like that actually covered a lot pretty well. Let me know if you got any more questions about that. We got only about 10 minutes left. Boy, time has been flying tonight and today. Michelle Angel says, what are your newest projects and fish you are going to have? So, I don't really know. Well, I know a few of them, but honestly, I would rather not say because I see a lot of people try to get ahead of me on them. And, I'm not 100% sure because I don't really have much room to really add anything new so much. Like, there's never enough aquariums. And one of the things I actually did today was try to work the first step into like the last biggest final phase that would allow me to get even more aquariums. But that's going to be a little journey. I hope to get the ball rolling on it soon. So with your guys' help, LRBAquatics.com, we can make dreams come true for lots of people. Because not only for me, but also for you guys. Because more that I can keep, more I can offer, more I can breed and share with you guys. Where I can stack them deep and sell them cheap. Hove D Aquatic says, have you ever thought about using your fish keeping ability in realms of survival so as protein in your garden? So actually we have 5 ponds on our property. So if survival was ever a thing, we've definitely got some fish protein. Now, as far as the garden grows, where we're at, it's kind of limited to what you can grow. And honestly, most of it, I'm not even a big fan of it. But we do keep our grass tall. So if we had to like get quail or dove or gooses or ducks, which honestly, we got enough fish that I could just survive off of that. And if I can't eat off my fish, then there's a whole Gulf of America or Mexico, whatever you want to call it down there, that I can go fish at too. Lots of fishing holes around these parts. So I'm not too worried about that. Now, if I had to do it in a realm of survival with like tilapia and stuff, it all comes down to what are you feeding that feeder fish. And that would, you got to get into like growing out other live foods just for them. So I guess if it's survival mode, maybe guppies would become feeders. Those would feed my eaters. I would hate to ever do that though. God willing, never. Favorite houseplant for aquariums? Favorite houseplant for aquariums? I'm so terrible at picking favorites. I really can't. But, you know, it's definitely not pothos, I can tell you that much. If you actually watch the channel, we have a bunch. We used to do our live streams in a humongous plant room, and we got this huge paludarium. But for the most part, that's Lady LRB stuff. So like, I know some of what they are. Like, I really love this fern, and that fern gets into the aquarium, but as a normal person trying to grow it in an aquarium, not quite as easy to do it. The reason why I'm getting away with it is there's enough guppy grass in there to act as a media for the fern to grow up and out of, which is really neat. And Budget Bonsai, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Much, much love. Absolutely love bonsais too. That's one thing that I've always kind of wanted to get into, but I know I don't really have the time to mess around with. Although, like, that's one of those hobbies you can kind of fiddle with here and there and kind of set it and forget it, let it grow, and maybe just mess with it more later. But I would say maybe after I get towards these like last steps of what I want to do for this aquatic business, maybe I would have time for that. I really do pour pretty much everything into what I do here. And of course my family and whatnot. All right, and I'll try my best to keep up with questions here. JP Jeffrey says, I have 30 Episto fries. Congratulations, JP. And a 10-gallon, they're about 1/2 inch. I'm worried they will be stunted unless I move them quickly to a 40B. Do you have experience with Episto? So it is good to do your water changes on babies to keep from stunting. Of course, in a 10-gallon, 1/2 inch, that's pretty decent size. 30 of them. I mean, this is why there's never enough aquariums, because ideally you would want to do like a 10 or a 20. It actually would be better to start them off with like a 20-gallon high or long, in my opinion. But I understand why you start smaller too, easier to feed and stuff. You got to move them sooner than later, and they will eventually get faster the bigger they get. And at a 1/2 inch, I don't feel like 40 gallons is too big for them. They should grow out and feel like they have a lot more space to do so. Yeah, I would probably go ahead and get them in that 40-gallon. And if you're keeping them in a smaller tank, and if you don't get them into the 40-gallon, then do more water changes more frequently. Not big water changes, but just more frequently. I just realized I did not read that comment, Budget Bonsai. I just got distracted thinking about future bonsais that I may get to or may not get to. Says Lucas, that was a great build video of your tub area. Well, thank you. Thank you. I spent a ton of time, blood, sweat, and tears on it. Well, I don't think I really cried much, but definitely blood and sweat. And I'm super excited about it. I actually installed the lights on it on the inside, which I use solar panel motion detection lights. So I had to drill a hole up through the deck to get the solar panel on the top. And they were actually really cheap off of eBay. They didn't cost me much. But it's kind of weird. They won't work when they're plugged in, which doesn't make much sense to me. They work, I don't know if I had to just plug them in to charge them, but while they're plugged into the solar thing, they just won't work, which, I don't know, kind of a rip, but we'll make it work for now. And honestly, I don't know how much I'll actually need them. But the good thing is, if I end up not liking them, I'm sure there's somewhere I could use them. Like trying to keep the bats out of my freaking house. Oh my God, these bats have been driving me batty. It's getting cooler. They're trying to find somewhere to hunker down, so we gotta play this like high-pitched noise stuff for bats. And we got a few other things coming on the way to help combat them. And help actually get some bat houses up, because they are really good to have around the property. Or my neighbors always complain about mosquitoes, but we don't really hardly ever get bit or even see mosquitoes, probably due to those bats. Well, thank you, Fish Streams. I appreciate that. To John Oliver, appreciate that. Same with your family. Edwards Clare, I don't know if I said that right, says how to dechlorinate city water water changes on 300-gallon. I ran plumbing straight in and out of the tank with check valves, planing on discus fish, and collections of tetras planted. So if you already know how to do plumbing, highly recommend what they call a carbon filter, a carbon block. And it's like a small, a matter of fact, here, I will show you because I know the light's on in there. And visuals, pictures worth 1,000 words, right? So let's kick in the door and see what we got back here. And hopefully the Wi-Fi does all right for us. But you can see mine are kind of nasty because, well, I got nasty well water full of iron. This is a sediment filter, and this is the carbon filter. So the water comes in from here. You can see down there. Comes in, goes into the sediment filter, which kind of gets the bigger pieces out first, and then gets pushed over into this carbon filter. And these you can replace every so often. I think it's like 3 months or something they last. Depends on how much you use them too. But this will dechlor your water for you to where you don't have to worry about drops or anything like that. And if you want to be super secure about it, run 2 carbon filters. They even make big carbon towers such as so, where you would never have to really worry about any chlorine ever getting into your aquariums or chloramine. So even just having this carbon here is actually beneficial for plants too, because that is one of plants' major building blocks is carbon. And that liquid Excel that people use, no bueno. That stuff is bad. Glutaraldehyde, something like that. It's got tons of warnings on it. Tons of warnings on it. And don't get that on your skin. It's actually cancerous. And it's not good for your fish either. So, hate to break it to you guys that use Excel, because I know a lot of people really, really vouch for it. But it is not good stuff when it comes to carbon. So getting real carbon, which I don't know, chuck some charcoal in here. Look at these guys though. I gotta get these guys moved so I can get some babies. Gotta get some babies for my babies. Look at this. It's like a jungle sometimes. Actually, I was pulling a bunch of Pagaia Village rainbow fish out of here with that cup. Because these guys are leaving me little babies. Leave me little babies. And some of the goods. Oh, wait. Oh, hey. Oh. Wrong button. There we go. Make it not as bouncy, but I'm not always good at that. There. Okay. Jeez Louise. Silent, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Any tips on Christmas moss? Mine is struggling, no CO2. Do small water changes. Those small water changes will help keep it growing and help keep the algae off of it. Like 10% a week or 20% every 2 weeks. Should be good. Janice Lundberg, always good to see you in here. Member for 59 months. That's amazing. How the time flies. And Janice, you have helped build a lot of this and helped me with my dreams. So I will always be grateful for you, Janice. Sorry if I'm missing anybody's questions. I definitely cannot get through this chat in time. And Aquarium Fantasy, yes, the website is updated. Thanks for asking. Just got that done yesterday for the first time in like 3 weeks. Aquarium Fantasy, Lucas, what is the next project you are going to work on? The next big project is just trying to get more space for more tanks. We got the land, we just need the building. Do you fertilize the plants in your tanks? I don't. So I just kind of let whatever's in the well water do what it does, especially with my iron. My iron's so high, so I definitely don't have to dose like the iron CSMB, even though it probably needs some of the other trace elements. And honestly, I need to test the potassium in it. I don't know if there's a way I could really test all the potassium in it. I know they make tests for reef tanks, but I would like to know my potassium count. That way I could figure out if I should dose potassium. Now, when I first did move down here and had things going, I would add some potassium in it. I already knew there was iron, but I felt like I was getting a lot more algae whenever I was putting in the potassium. So I feel like my well water is already so nutrient rich that actually battle the mineralization and nutrients more than what they're really doing. So I've got like an oversaturation, especially of certain minerals like KH and iron, that really promotes algae and is hard on the exoskeleton or biofilm of plants, the plant membrane. So I actually have more issues with that, to the point I don't really need to do any fertilization. Although I have softer water, so it's still kind of acidic, but it's barely acidic, so it's kind of slower at breaking things down. And that's why, like, these people who do the really nice scape tanks, they use RO because they can start with a blank canvas and they just add the minimal amount of fertilization really necessary for those plants in an environment, whether they be fast growing, slow growing, that all kind of depends. Because let's face it, you can't have like a Buche tank and just load it up with fertilizers, because it's not going to absorb that compared to like something a stem plant would. A stem plant tank, where they're more fast growers. All right, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to hop off here. I so wish that I could stay on here longer, but it does not look like I'm gonna be able to, because I got a lot to do. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, how much did that system cost? Which system? Not sure what you mean. But if you leave it in the chat, I can get to you guys. So if you guys did have questions, really want them answered, throw them into the chat or into the comments after this is done. Not into this chat, but into the comments of the video. And then I can get to your guys' questions there, and or any other video as well, even if it doesn't even pertain to that video. So, all right. As Preaching Flamingo says, get her done. And that is so true. So the only best way to do it, and the only way to do it, is to do it. So saying that, appreciate you guys all. Until next time. Peace.